Hello and welcome back to Steadygrowth Academy, your number one real estate and success learning platform. I'm excited to be back on here with you. I'm sure you've gained massive value so far, starting from visioning to taking the right action and everything that we've covered so far. And quickly, on this course, we'll be looking at what is real estate all about. I'm sure you've heard the word real estate thrown around everywhere. Is it a residential building? Is it commercial buildings? Is it an agricultural farmland? What is real estate all about? And that is what we'll be covering on this course today. So real estate, simply put, is land and anything on it. So when someone acquires a real estate property, it is simply a land and anything on it. So it could be just a bare land, or it could be a land with a building on it, or it could be a land with a building and has some mineral deposits, oil, gold, whatever it is. That is what real estate is all about, a land and everything on it. Now, quickly, as we move on, you will find more robust meaning of the operations within the real estate industry, because defining it as just a land and any building on it has not done enough justice to this thing called real estate. And quickly, we'll be diving in a little bit deeper to help us see clearly what we will be looking at in detail today. I'm excited to be on this journey with you, so buckle up as we dive right in, okay? So the first thing we'll be exploring about real estate is by its nature. What does it represent? I'll be giving you 5 representations of real estate. Number 1 is creation. We are created to create. By design, by nature, every human around the world is a creator. From the seat you are sitting on, to the clothes you are putting on, to the accessories you are putting on, every single thing was created by humans that are not different from you and I. So the beauty of real estate is that it represents creation. The ability to design something and have it physically represented is phenomenal. This taps into the very core of your being. This reawakens the person that you are designed to be. By nature, by construct, you are a creator. And that's the beautiful thing about the real estate industry, is that it taps into that person that you are and brings out the best of creativity within you. It can come from the concept of architectural drawings. It can come from the concept of interior designs. It can come from the concept of just your love for beautiful creations. But whatever it is, this is the first thing that fascinates me about the real estate industry. The fact that you can conceptualize an idea and create the physical representation or manifestation of that idea. And that is what real estate is all about, creation. But quickly, I will dive in deep on the second concept around this thing called real estate. And this is it: assets. Now, I'll be explaining something in detail here. What is assets? Assets, first of all, I would like to say, is the language of the wealthy. The poor and the masses hardly understand this concept. But quickly, let's talk about assets, and let's break it down on how people should understand the need for it, value it, and make it their life's mission to own as much of it as possible. So simply put, what is the game of wealth? The game of wealth is the acquisition of assets. And any wealthy person, or anyone who is on his path to wealth, embraces the concept of asset acquisition. And quickly, I will help your mind today on this course by helping you see where your money is going to and how to redirect it to this end goal. So everybody starts here. Everybody. The rich, the poor, the middle class, if they still exist, everybody starts here. Where do they start from? From earning. Why? To earn is the proof of maturity, which is the test of responsibility. When a child begins to come of age, the first proof of maturity is that the child begins to take responsibility for certain things. So when you're growing up in a home and they used to take care of you, now they demand that you pay rent, or you move and find a place where you can pay rent for yourself. Why? So you can begin to take on some responsibilities for your life. So everybody, either by omission or commission, either by default or compulsion, will get to a point in their life, regardless of their level of laziness, will see the needs to earn and must begin to earn. Either from a paid job, a business, whatever it is, everybody earns. Okay? Now, but what happens next is what creates the disparity between the wealthy and the masses. What happens next? So first, I'm going to draw what I call the poor pattern here. How does, unfortunately, 70 to 80% of people live their lives? How do they do it? They earn money. Everybody starts here. But see their path. When they earn, what next do they do? Some of them that are trained will save. And mind you, it's only 3% of them that save. The remaining 97% move directly onto the next level. And what do? They get into this box called spend. They earn to save to spend. And when they spend, what do they have to do? They work to earn, to save, to spend, to work. And that is called the proverbial rat race, meaning they run all through their lives around circle and keep wondering why nothing is happening around them. Why? Because life by itself is designed to keep you busy until you learn certain things and decide to apply it like you are doing today. So for most persons, when they earn their money, they save it all for the purpose of spending. Now, a lot of persons may argue that they save for the purpose of investing, but that's a different class. The guys on this level, they don't save for the purpose of spending. They save for the purpose of spending, and they spend on things they can justify that makes sense to them. So what do they spend on? They spend on food. They spend on transportation, maybe fuel for their vehicles and generators. They spend on they spend on food, transportation, accommodation. These are basic things of life, and they spend their money on it. Healthcare, is it important? Absolutely. But they find a genuine reason why that money must lift their hand into a bracket called expenses. That is the end destination. So for the man who is saving to pay his rent, you are not doing something bad. You are just helping some of us who are building assets. Because who owns the building that you are paying a rent on? For the man saving to pay his children's school fees, remember, the school is owned by an individual, an organization of some sort. So eventually, am I saying you should not school your kids? It's important. But as much as that is important, something else is even much more important. And we'll establish that truth very soon. So you earn, for the vast majority of people, they earn to save. They save to spend. They spend to work, because by the time they exhaust the money, they find a reason to get back to work as fast as possible. And for most of them, they have even spent the money even before the money was paid in the first place. So they are living on deficit. Now they have all the reasons to work. For what? To earn, to save, and to spend again. And this cycle continues for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years, for 10 years. For some, for 15, 20, 30. And for most people, they even live all that way all through their life until they exit this planet called Earth, and nothing happens. But let me give you another school of thought. The wealthy pattern. How does the wealthy operate? And remember, wealth is not just a question of your physical state of being. Wealth is about the way you think. So the first, we say everybody starts here, which is earning. They earn. Everybody earns, be it a job, a business, whatever it is that you do, you earn. But the next thing they do will amaze you. Where their earned income is going into is what we call assets, which is what we are studying and which is why we are here today. Because let me give you a background on this. If you save, if you earn to save and to spend, you will forever be poor. But if you earn to own assets, which in turn produces what? Cash flow. Are you going to spend? Of course, you are a big spender. You spend as well. You ball. You have a nice time. You homeschool your kids or take them to schools that are just incredible. You wear the nice clothes, you put on, you go to amazing places, you travel around the world, you live a beautiful lifestyle. Why? Because you can afford to do that. Okay? And then when they spend, guess what they do? They keep earning from their job or from their business or whatever it is that they do, but the circle is different here. They don't prioritize saving as against owning assets, because the game of the wealthy is the game called asset acquisition. When you go to the bank to get anything from the bank, like a facility, a loan, guess what they are after? They also play the game of the wealthy. In fact, they institutionalize the game of the wealthy. And that is asset acquisition. So when you come for that loan facility, guess what they are after? Collateral. Yes, collateral. Collateral. An asset that is equivalent and above the facility you are requesting for. Why? Because the game of the wealthy is the game for asset acquisition. I'm telling you what real estate is all about. This is why people take real estate seriously. I believe that everybody around the world should invest in real estate. From the moment they know how to stand on their 2 feet, to the moment they understand what responsibility is all about, to the moment they see their surrounding, how affluent it is or how terrible it is. From the moment they appreciate life and the beauty of it, to the moment they resent their parents for their lack or abundance or whatever it is the moment they should understand the need for asset acquisition. And one of the most imperishable assets in this world is real estate, because it is fixed and immovable. When you buy that real estate, remember what is real estate? The land and any building on it, its resources, the mineral resources, the water, the gold, the oil, whatever it is, it's an asset. And what is an asset? I'll give you a simple definition of an asset. An asset is anything that retains value and multiply value. This is steady growth definition of an asset. Anything that retains value and multiplies value. And real estate is one of the most incredible vehicles that retains value and multiplies value over time. Now remember, what we are looking at today is what? What is real estate all about? First is about creation. Second is about asset acquisition. Play the game of the wealthy. Don't play here. Don't be part of the masses. Don't listen to that person who is telling you as you earn your money, forget, you have issues, deal with your problem. Listen to me. As long as you are in this earth, there is no end to problems. There will always be something to deal with. But for how long? How long will you spend putting off fires as against building a reservoir that can put off as many fires as possible? How long will you spend running around circles as against taking that leap of faith and saying, you know what? My journey to wealth begins today with my first real estate acquisition. You can go to the listing on your dashboard now and take a look at the properties we have on display and make that decision today. Now remember, there are 3 other definitions of what real estate is all about. And I will mention them to you on this basic course, but we'll be diving in deep on it on the premium package, which is why I highly recommend that after now, as much as you still have other courses to go through on this basic course, quickly take that leap, click on the upgrade button, and make your payment to upgrade to the premium pack, because on the premium pack you'll be getting advanced level stuff. But I'll make mention of a few things that represent what real estate is all about quickly. Number 3 is transformation. Transformation. What is real estate all about? It's about transformation. I'll be explaining that in detail on the premium package. Real estate is about beauty. We are the lovers of beauty. We are the lovers of beauty. Real estate is about beauty, and I'll be explaining that in detail on the premium pack. And most importantly, real estate is about legacy. Legacy. This is incredible. I'll be talking about a whole lot of things on this regard. I remember a couple of weeks back, we had a client who bought one of our properties here in Steadygrowth at Safe Haven and in Asokoro to Abuja, and this person, on his first inspection, the first day he came to the headquarters and went for inspection to see the property, of which he bought immediately, he told an amazing story. Because I like having this interaction whenever I'm around the office and we have a client who buys a property, I always want to engage with them. So in this case, he came in for inspection. The driver, together with one of our staffs, took him to the site. He fell in love at first sight, made a purchase. And then when they came back to the office and they were doing the paperwork, I engaged this individual. I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "It's fine." I said, "Why did you make the decision to make your purchase?" And he told me an interesting story I will never forget. He told me how his great-grandfather owned massive properties in the state of Lagos, from the current known Banana Island to a most part of Ikeja. And these were things I was able to verify. And then he told me that this transcended, this moved over to his father. His father became a beneficiary of it, and by extension, the children as well. And then he made a very bold statement. He told me, from the legacy of his grandfather down to his father, currently as a grown man, he earns a minimum of 150 million on an annual basis from their asset holdings in real estate. And this is not from the input of his direct biological father, but his grandfather. Talk about legacy. A good man does not leave an inheritance for his children. No, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. I'll be talking about this in depth on the premium pack. You definitely want to get plugged in on the premium pack immediately. Now, remember, the next course we'll be diving into what are real estate terminologies. Basic we'll be covering on the next course on this basic plan. Stay tuned. Get excited. It only gets better from here. Abundance lives here. Come on, let's go. Let's go.